with more DC news, which I'm always hesitant to do because it's a dumpster fire. It's an absolute dumpster fire that tends to go all over the place as far as the information. But right now, what we know is that there's every bit the possibility that Wonder Woman 3 will move forward. It will just move forward without Patty Jenkins. Mm-hmm. So basically, she brought in a treatment. From what I understand, a treatment, not a script. They're not the same thing. A treatment is basically like you have the basic outline and ideas of all the events and characters that are going to happen in the movie, but the dialogue is not written. And they basically said Pamela Abdi and the other one who are in charge now over there at Warner Discovery said, we would like you to rewrite aspects of this. And she said, no. Mm-hmm. She said no.
She gave them the middle finger and stormed out. She's such an alpha female, really. I don't think you're able to handle it.
She's
if you don't deserve her at her Wonder Woman, or what is it? If you can't handle her at her Wonder Woman 1984, you don't deserve her at her Wonder Woman 3.
Right.
No, because the better example would be if you can't
would that be Wonder Woman 2049?
If you can't handle her at her Wonder Woman 1984, you don't deserve her at her Monster. That's the movie she directed. It's a very, very well known. So yes. It says Patty Jenkins allegedly sent an email to Michael DeLuca that ended up with a Wikipedia page with the definition of the word character arc visible. The insider also reported that Patty Jenkins had no intention of heeding James Gunn and Peter Safran's decisions and didn't care about their input. Well, that sounds like the stubborn, bullheaded behavior of a man.
Yes.
I have been told by Hollywood that is man's behavior.
Well, she's probably had to adapt to her personality this way to get along in the industry. I understand why she's being more assertive, but also she might be passing up an opportunity to save her reputation with having ruined Wonder Woman with the second one.
Right.
Here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that she did not write Wonder Woman 1. That was written by, Zack Snyder did the treatment and the story for that one. And I forget the name of the other gentleman who wrote that movie. Oh, it was Alan Heinberg. Heinberg wrote that movie. And it's far better because it feels far more real to the world they were building
because
at the time.
Because it was written by a man.
Exactly.
That's why it was better.
Well,
clearly.
Women owned.
He was mansplaining.
I'm kidding.
She's not.
Kidding.
She's not. And here's the thing. She's not doing Rogue Squadron anymore.
Right.
Like they pulled her out. I don't know if she got pulled off of Rogue Squadron, but remember, she made a big deal. She's like, my dad was a pilot.
Actually, it sounds like from what we know, there were creative differences.
See, that's what it sounds like.
It's always creative differences.
It seems like that's a running theme with her lately.
If your example of My Way or the Highway is Wonder Woman 1984, where she basically R-words a dude, you're off to a bad start here. She doesn't have.
I mean, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know.
So
if that's
basically,
true.
what happens is Wonder Woman's boyfriend gets put into a body, and then someone else.
Not her real boyfriend. Right. Her real boyfriend is
not her real boyfriend.
Steve Trevor is dead.
He is dead. It's kind of hard to explain.
I tried to explain it the other day, and I was like, that is really convoluted. But basically,
I'll have to watch it to understand in full.
The magical MacGuffin gives you the thing you've always wanted or whatever, and what she always wanted is to have her boyfriend back. And so basically, some random guy that she doesn't know becomes Steve Trevor,
right?
And she totally does him, and this dude becomes Steve Trevor. He's not in control of his own mind.
He becomes him inside, but not on the outside.
He becomes. She sees him as Steve Trevor.
She sees him as that.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And she definitely does him.
That's questionable.
Yes, it is very questionable. But they make a highlight in the movie of them doing it and them having a great time together. They even have a wardrobe scene where she's dressing him up and is like, I like you in this outfit and that outfit, and it's very creepy. It's very.
Just imagine the roles reversed.
Yeah,
of course. That's what we always say, the hypocrisy, the double standard, but they're still gonna do it. They're still gonna do this stuff.
Here's the thing: what I've realized, if this news is gonna come out constantly, James Gunn, who's not exactly known for his social media tepidness, he's very, very he implodes sometimes on social media.
He does.
And he's going to have to be next level masterful.
Well, this thread that he posted on Twitter, which is quite long, and I'm not going to read all of it, is sort of attempting to spit on a bonfire to put it out.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people who are angry at him. I think it's quelled some worries and people are more trusting of him now. But he, at the end of this thread, said, we're giving these characters and the stories the time and attention they deserve. and we ourselves still have a lot more questions to ask and answer.
Yep.
He said also, everything we do is done in the service of the story and in the service of the DC characters we know you cherish and have cherished our whole lives. So, in service of Wonder Woman, we have canceled Wonder Woman.
He was
Yeah.
told that
Thumbs up.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
he was told that he was not allowed to touch the Batman 2, he was not allowed to touch the Joker 2, he was not allowed to touch Wonder Woman 3, and he was not allowed to touch Superman, J.J. Abrams' Superman. But they've pulled the plug on those as far as I know. Anyways, there hasn't been any movement on the ill-fated J.J. Abrams what would that be? A Val Zod Superman,
Right.
Superman movie, which no one.
Are you saying he was told this directly by Zaslav?
No, I'm saying that the Calvin Ellis Superman
Yes.
movie has not moved forward as
No,
far as I
it
know.
is not. Apparently, he gave them a script or like a rough outline of a script,
Yeah.
and they did not like it.
Imagine how like good it must be to be J.J. Abrams, where you just do no work and get like $200 or $400 million.
So many movies over and over.
Like he is, they gave him like $400 million or something to develop movies in like 2019, and that's produced exactly 0 movies. Like that must be nice.
they're producing a game and he's overseeing the game as well.
It's so funny because he branches out. And remember, he did the Spider-Man comic with his son.
Yes.
Was that wasn't or was that Joss Whedon?
It
It was one of those. I thought it was J.J. Abrams.
I think it's JJ.
His son like did a Spider-Man novelty comic and did the writing for it. It was really, really bad from what I understand. But those are always
Nepotism.
Yeah, but
Yes.
nepotism. So he's going to have to build like I feel for James Gunn, because imagine being in charge of this many disparate elements that are all floating around, egos galore on every single one of them, each one of these egos with their own fan base that wants everything
The
to
Rock,
revolve around them,
especially.
whether we're talking about The Rock, whether we're talking about Zack Snyder. Obviously we don't know how far he's going to be involved in this. In fact, my idea is they should just give him Wonder Woman. Just give Zack Snyder
I
Wonder
agree.
Woman and
I
let
think
him
that
make,
would be good.
Like it would
Let
be
the
very,
so-called Snyder bots have one last hurrah
give like,
and then
'cause
kick them to the curb.
Look, the reason the first Wonder Woman movie worked is because the tone kind of contradicted the fish out of water charm
Yes.
that Gal Gadot brought to that role.
Yes.
And having that again, granted, you won't have the same fish out of water story that you had before. I can see him handling it, and he handles the action stuff far better. And maybe he won't be allowed to male gaze, so he won't be forced to do as much gratuitous slow-mo as he always does. That's my one complaint, is there's always way too much slow-mo. My favorite being the fruit stand in Justice League, which spends like 3.5 minutes. I watched it the other night because it's like I love Batman vs Superman, the extended edition. And I liked the Snyder cut of Justice League, but it's like 4.5 or 5 hours long.
Yes.
I don't have the time of day to watch all of that over and over again. But I was like, were those scenes as bad as I remember? Because it makes sense, even though I think they could have skipped the entirety of Bruce Wayne's origin story in Batman vs. Superman. You really don't need crashing fruit stands in the Justice League movie. So maybe if he can't zoom in on Gal Gadot like creepily, he will refrain from doing his super slow-mo thing all the time.
Yes.
So, like, he's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of work to do that I don't. He canceled, apparently, the Michael. They were planning or wanted to do a Michael Keaton Batman Beyond, which I would have loved.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
That is tragic that they canceled that.
I've been going in between, like, back and forth between Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond on the weekends, like when I can. Not last weekend, but like every other weekend I go back to watch some of the animated movies and the animated shows, and they're like, there's a Babylon Bee meme that says the society finally admits that Batman the Animated Series was the peak of civilization. It kind of was. Like, you would be surprised in a society that now makes fun of like activism and social messaging, how much like anti-corporate discussion is had in the first season of Batman the Animated Series. It's kind of fascinating how good it was done, considering it was made for kids.
Yeah. It was so good. I mean, people to this day talk about it and rave about it, and there's a reason.
Kind of like X-Men '97, though.
Yes.
I don't have as much history with that. I was more of a DC guy. Caper2X will be in the chat now, calling me names
DC
for
fanboy.
telling me that.
I was always quite the DC fan girl.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, she's here to defend me.
Yes, I will to the death.
She likes Ben Affleck as Batman, so that's
I
two.
love Ben Affleck as Batman.
Dane is in the chat
Dane
right now, just
just-
seething and
He
coping
is
so
so
hard.
good, and it's so sad that he's gone. At least for now. Maybe we will get lucky. but I don't think so.
Before we went on air today, earlier in the day, I was thinking about it, and it's a revelation that's kind of come to me before, but I thought about how DC really did pull off one of the most incredible, what do they say, like snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Basically, or snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. They perfectly casted their entire Trinity as well as Aquaman. All of those casting decisions were met with extreme enthusiasm, except for Ben Affleck, who later proved he might be the most divisive, but I still think perfectly cast.
I agree.
And to mess that up that badly when you have casting that good is shocking and proof of just how bad the corporate level interference was for all of those productions. Like, if Marvel could get their casting that right all the time, they would have even more money than they already do. But they kind of, what it is they rely on both the general fan base, right? The people that don't just love those characters, they love Marvel as a whole. Most people don't, I feel like, don't feel that same way about DC. They feel about specific characters. Because those
specific actors as those characters. People feel strongly about Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, not just Wonder Woman.
Well, also those characters in general, because of how far they've, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman really are, outside of Spider-Man and now, I guess, Iron Man, but that's even a late comer to such popularity. It's almost harder to do that because people hold it, like, if you're taking a character that nobody knows about, and this is why I think James Gunn loves it, because he can take a bunch of characters that nobody knows about, and if it doesn't work, that's no loss. People take it a lot more personally when you don't pull off these amazing characters.
But this is the time to make big wins. If the game plan is to get new fans of the DCU and not just draw the hardcore comics fans into the theaters, then you need to show some loyalty to the flagship characters and not the so-called D-listers and C-listers.
I think that they need to balance better, because I feel at this point, I feel like Marvel's been trying to push these new characters a little bit more, new to the big screen, but I feel like they need to balance much better on the DC side of things.
I loved Peacemaker. I loved Peacemaker. I loved James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie. I loved that movie. It's not my general tone.
I really liked it. I thought that it had a couple of small issues, but I thought that overall it was pretty good, and Peacemaker was very good.
What didn't you like about?
I don't know. I just felt like the balance of the characters was a little bit off.
Meaning they gave more attention to some than others. Script size set with that many actors, it's going to fall between. Most likely, it's even possible that more people, there's a lot of shots of all of them, but a lot of it gets left on the cutting room floor just because you're going to give more time to John Cena and Idris Elba because they're bigger names. That's like I mentioned the other day, I rewatched the X-Men the other weekend, and they were talking about how they gave Halle Berry more time in X-Men 2 than 1 because she just won her Oscar for Monsters Ball or whatever, so they increased her screen time. So John Cena, who was just cast in the Fast and the Furious movie, likely had increased screen time because they were coming out around similar period. So, like I said, I still don't know if I buy James Gunn as a studio executive. I trust him as a creative doing his own stuff, even if it's not my stuff completely. But he's an unproven commodity as far as his ability to do backroom deals and organize these things. And
I'm very worried about what is actually going to happen under his leadership now, because I do have to agree. I think that as a creative, he's got a lot of great ideas, and he's good at executing what he wants to do. But
and he's got enough of an ego and enough credit to be given that platform and not really interfered with as much.
Was Peter Safran also brought on to help in that side of things?
He's a pure producer,
side of things?
I believe. He's pure producer. So he would be more money and organization side of things. So maybe the idea is that James Gunn is the focus. It also further proves that it takes two people to be Kevin Feige at any one time. Like him or not, and I'm not a fan of the way
he's a powerhouse.
I mean, that's a rare skill set. Imagine like being a guy who somehow grew up loving a certain type of comic book, but also decided to get into the world of corporate executive and then get like the perfect job that was basically designed for you.
I mean, he's good at it.
I don't know if they tried it with Jeff Johns, didn't really work. Walter Hamada was a studio executive, not necessarily a comic fan exclusively.
Not at all.
Good horror producer though. He does a lot of good horror movies.
And that's what he's going to be focusing on going forward
at Paramount. He's moved on over to Paramount.
Yes.
So
I think that there's a bright side to Patty Jenkins walking away, though. They could replace her with someone better. A new
who's
script.
that?
Taylor Swift.
Ah, yes. Guys, this is what's going on. So Taylor Swift just recently got they mentioned it in the Hollywood Reporter today that she's going to develop her first full-length feature film, because of course she is. And you know what? She's
Only worked on music videos so far, though. So she's about to write her own script and direct her own movie.
I am not convinced.
Official now with Searchlight Pictures. Now, some people are saying it's awfully coincidental that this announcement is made just as Patty Jenkins walks away from Wonder Woman 3. Could Taylor Swift make a better version of it?
I don't know.
Or worse.
I like this one that says, what if Taylor Swift takes a hard left and directs the next installment of the Saw franchise? we could do that.
Funny.
I mean, or she does it and it's just all music. It's all montages to her music.
That's what I had said earlier. What if she goes in a completely different direction and she decides to do like horror films and she decides to do something completely different than what you'd expect?
It's unlikely because Taylor Swift is so self-obsessed and self-indulgent that she can't make anything that's not about her, including the singular short film that she directed with Dylan O'Brien and Sadie Sink. It was still reenacting her and her own relationship with John Mayer, and also casting herself in the victim role, of course. She is addicted to that.
Classic.
So I don't think she's necessarily going to have anything to offer directing a full-length movie that's not
Honestly,
about her.
no. I don't think that she will. I think that maybe we'll see her go in on a project with somebody and she'll be like an executive producer, and that's how she'll kind of test the waters.
No, she's going full hog,
in.
like she's writing and directing completely on her own, because
she says that now, but will
she realize how
once
hard
she
it
gets
is
right
and
behind
then
the
back out?
scenes, will she realize, oh, I don't think I'm actually equipped to do this job?
Let us know what you think, guys. Let us know in the chat.
Do you think that there's going to be a wave of women can't catch a break articles relating to Patty Jenkins leaving this project? They're going to say, if a man had said that he didn't want to rewrite the script, they would have seen it as a virtue.
They would have capitulated.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at the way James Cameron behaves in his business dealings, you can't help but sympathize with her, right?
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.